Grief doesn't knock politely. It storms in, rearranges everything, and leaves you staring at a version of your life you never asked for. One day, things make sense. The next, even breathing feels like work. And in those moments, the idea of creating anything, of producing something meaningful, feels almost offensive. How can pain possibly become fuel? How can something so heavy be turned into something powerful? Yet, hidden inside grief is a raw, untamed energy. And if you learn how to channel it, that same weight that once held you down can become the force that pushes you forward. Grief strips away illusions. It forces honesty. It takes away the superficial and leaves you with something real, something unfiltered. And that is exactly what creativity thrives on. Think about the most powerful pieces of writing, music, art, or ideas you've ever encountered. They didn't come from comfort. They came from depth. They came from people who felt something so intensely that they had no choice but to express it. Grief, as painful as it is, gives you access to that depth instantly. But transforming grief into creative fuel doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending everything is fine. In fact, it's the opposite. It starts with allowing yourself to fully feel it, not suppressing it, not distracting yourself endlessly, just sitting with it, understanding it, and giving it a voice. Because grief that is not expressed doesn't disappear, it just transforms into something heavier. But when you begin to express it, even in the smallest ways, it starts to move. And movement is where creation begins. You don't need to be a professional artist, writer, or musician to do this. Creativity is not about perfection. It's about expression. It could be as simple as writing down your thoughts without editing them. It could be speaking into your phone, capturing the emotions exactly as they come. It could be sketching, cooking, building, or even structuring ideas for a project that carries meaning. The form doesn't matter. What matters is that you take what's inside you and give it shape. There's something powerful about externalizing pain. When it stays inside, it feels infinite and overwhelming. But when you put it into words, sounds, or visuals, it becomes something you can see, something you can interact with. It becomes something you can transform. And that transformation is where the magic happens. What once felt like pure suffering begins to evolve into something meaningful, something that carries your story, your resilience, your truth. Another shift happens when you realize that your grief connects you to others. Pain can feel isolating, like no one else could possibly understand what you're going through. But the moment you create something from it and share it, even if it's just with one person, you begin to see the opposite. You begin to see that your story resonates, that your feelings are not as unique as they seem. And instead of being alone in your grief, you become a bridge for others who are struggling in silence. This is where creative fuel becomes something bigger than just personal healing. It becomes impact. Your experience, your pain, your journey, they all become tools that can inspire, comfort, or guide someone else. And that realization can change everything. Because now, your grief is not just something you endure. It's something you use, something you shape into purpose. Of course, this transformation doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when the weight feels too heavy, when creativity feels impossible, when all you can do is survive. And that's okay. The goal is not to rush the process or force productivity. The goal is to remain open to the possibility that even in your lowest moments, something meaningful can emerge. Even a single sentence written on a hard day is progress. Even a small idea captured in a moment of clarity is a step forward. Over time, you'll start to notice a shift. What once felt like chaos begins to organize itself into patterns, insights, and ideas. You'll start to see themes in your thoughts, connections in your experiences. And slowly, without even realizing it, you'll be creating something. Something real. Something powerful. Something that could never have existed without what you went through. And perhaps the most important part of this journey is understanding that transforming grief into creative fuel is not about moving on or getting over it. It's about integrating it. It's about allowing your experiences, both painful and beautiful, to coexist and shape who you become. Because grief, as painful as it is, often carries within it love, memories, lessons, and depth. And when you channel it creatively, you don't lose those things. You preserve them in a new form. So today, Instead of asking how to escape your grief, ask a different question. Ask how you can express it. Ask how you can give it form. Ask how you can turn this invisible weight into something visible, something tangible, something meaningful. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You just need to start, even in the smallest way. Because the truth is, your pain has a voice. And when you choose to listen to it and express it, you unlock a kind of power that most people never discover. A power to create, to connect, to transform. And that is how grief, one of life's heaviest burdens, can become one of your greatest sources of strength. If this message resonated with you, don't let it end here. Take one small step today. Write something. Record something. Create something. And if you're ready to turn your experiences into powerful ideas that can impact others, make sure to subscribe and stay connected. Your story matters more than you think, and the world is waiting to hear it.